Hey, what is up guys? My name is True Underdog, and once again we have another how to play video, this time featuring Ferra. This lumbering behemoth doesn't do a ton of damage but makes up for with a lot of mobility and honestly pretty good zoning. You'll be surprised how good this guy is at dealing with keep away. He's very good at it. Well, they are very good at it. Anyway guys, without further ado, let's break it down step by step. And voila, would you look at that? All the special moves appeared on screen like magic. Now I should mention this is basic Ferra, so no variations whatsoever. These are his universal special moves that he will always have. Now I know there are two of them, but I'm going to refer to it as he, since Torr is doing most of the work. It is kind of a give and take relationship, but Torr is the one I'm going to be referring to, since he's the one walking around doing most of the legwork. Plus it's less confusing for me. Anyway, let's get right to it. First off we have Deep Stab. This is an unblockable command grab, does decent damage, and has fast startup. So it's great to use against characters who love to block. That being said, they can jump away from it and punish you with a full combo, because it doesn't recover very fast, so keep that in mind. Now, the enhanced version is where things get very interesting, because it actually has 2 hits of armor. Not just 1, but 2, making it a great way to snuff wake-up attacks, and I'm going to show you how that works real quick. Alright, so what I'm going to do is knock down Sub-Zero, and bring it! There we go! See that? I absorbed his stuff, and got full damage. The throw is also a decent combo ender if you do it properly. The enemy has to be somewhat close to the ground or it won't combo. And I'm doing a terrible job of showing that. Oh my gosh. There we go. So it does combo on airborne opponents. Keep that in mind. But that armor is just such a good weapon against players, especially if they love to wake up with slide, and Sub-Zero players typically do, so this move is always in your back pocket. You can also decide which way to throw the opponent if you hold it down, but that's only in the enhanced version, so keep that in mind. Alrighty, next we have Bull Girl, which is a low-hitting projectile and does decent damage. What's even more surprising is that it's actually safe on block unless done right in the opponent's face. If you do it right here, it's punishable. But even from like right here, it's 100% safe on block, they cannot punish you for it. Next we have Ferra Toss, which is an overhead projectile and will actually eat other projectiles. So if Sub-Zero was to throw an ice ball at me, I could actually eat it. And I'm going to show you what that looks like real quick. Alrighty, so unlike most projectiles, I can actually absorb it. See, most of the time you're forced to trade with the opponent, but not with Ferra. With Ferra actually eats the projectile, and therefore you take, oh crap, I fucked up. I did it way too early. Ah, shit. Okay, let's go a bit further away. I'm sorry, I did it the first time, but now I'm fucking up. See, right there. Ferra ate the projectile, there was no trade, I wasn't frozen, and if we had traded directly, I would have taken no damage and Sub-Zero would have got hit. And this thing hurts quite a lot, it's 10%. Pretty great overhead, and it can be full screen if you hold forward. If you hold back after using it, it's the close range version. Default, it's about jumping distance. So there's close, there's mid, I got frozen, then there's full screen. So you have 3 different versions of the same attack, and they're all very useful. Ferra is one of the few characters who has a full screen overhead, so keep that in mind. It's also a decent way to end combos. It's also safe on block too, so it's a very great projectile overall. So he has a low projectile and an overhead projectile, both of which will hit full screen. The only drawback is you can't do them back to back, because Ferra has to run all the way back and hop onto his backside. Last but not least we have Tuck and Charge, which in most variations hits twice and has 1 hit of armor if you do the enhanced version. It's not safe on block, so it's actually best for ending combos. Whether the opponent is airborne or not doesn't really matter, it'll usually still juggle. It's got pretty fast startup too, and what's great is Ferra, like always, will actually hit things in front of you. So let's go ahead and have Sub-Zero do an ice clone and throw an ice ball, and I'm going to use the armor and Ferra to get through both of them. Go ahead, Subby Wubby. Check it, I got through both of them. And Ferra is one of the few characters that can actually do that, because Ferra hit the ice clone and then Torr had the armor, so I can get through both of them. And that's pretty impressive stuff. Most characters cannot do this. He deals with zoning very well. He really does. They're a good team. Now, aside from the meter burn version, you can also enhance the regular version by holding down right trigger or R2. And it's definitely worth the damage. That was 16% for 1 attack. That's pretty meaty, and it's definitely worth it. It's a good way to end rounds most of the time if you have that extra bar. Alright guys, next we're going to go ahead and discuss Ferra's best attack strings. Normally, we wait till the end to do that, but this is a special occasion since one of Ferra's variations changes these attack strings completely, as well as their properties and their damage. So So we're going to go ahead and cover the basic ones right now, that way it's less confusing when we show the different versions of it. Alrighty, first off we have Mammoth. This string is safe on block and knocks the opponent down for a long time, giving you ample time to dash up and keep the pressure. I recommend you dash and don't run, that way you can keep your stamina. It also pushes them towards the corner, so that's another benefit. Next we have Torn Apart. This attack string is a great way to start off combos and end combos as well. It's also safe on block as long as you don't finish it. If you finish it, it does have a corner carry, but it's not safe on block, so make sure those first 3 attacks hit and then finish it off later on. It's kind of a hit confirm in that sense. It has good corner carry, and it does keep the enemy close, so you have no reason to forward dash like I just did. Next we have Tremendous. This is a pretty sneaky low attack, but it's not safe on block, so be very careful with it. It's one of those high risk, high reward kind of situations. It does knock the opponent down for a long period of time, so you can go for a cross step if you wanted to, although I fudged it up, but you can totally go for it. Let me try again. Redemption. Yeah, stuff like that. Great benefit. Next we have Two of a Kind, which hits overhead and is a great way to extend combos as well. Check that shit out. It's a great way to extend combos. It's an all-around good combo string. It's also safe on block, but only in 2 out of the 3 variations. In Lackey, it is not safe, so keep that in mind. Next we have Torrific, which is great for corner carry and has decent range all in of itself. Look at that. Look at Ferra just run in. Oh, it's just so great. Did not mean to do that, sorry guys. Got great range, has good corner carry, once again knocks the opponent down for more than enough time to dash in and keep the pressure going. It's also a great way to combo after the neutral jump punch, since Ferra has easily the best neutral jump punch in the game as far as range, and you can totally compensate with that move. It's a great attack string to follow up with. Good stuff, good stuff. Lastly, we have One for the Team. This hits low and then overhead, but is not safe on block. So while it is tricky for the opponent to deal with, if they block it, you will eat a full combo, and that's a big price to pay, so use it sparingly. It's a pretty risky venture. You have forward +2, which is also a great low. I recommend using that instead, because you can combo after it. So it's a much better option in my honest opinion. I think it's all around better. Now, some honorable mentions real quick. We have Standing 4, which has great range, and is good for ending combos, because it does a lot of damage. Look at that. If you cancel this into an attack, it's a lot of damage, 16%. And like we said before, good range. It's a great way to play the zoning game. It's a good poke. Whoops, my bad. It's a good poke all in all, right? And same goes for the crouching version. The crouching version is just as good, and it actually lowers Ferra's hitbox, so it dodges certain attacks. It's an all-around great low poke and a great mid poke. Just all around both good. Just great. Both very good attacks. We also have the crouching 1, or the jab. This has pretty good hit advantage, and has good block advantage too. It's safe. So keep that in mind. It's safe on block, and has great hit advantage, so it's a great way to pester your opponent. Just all around good. As we mentioned earlier, Ferra's neutral jump punch is also really good. Tons of range. Oh, I'm trying to get the maximum distance right now. Right there. That's a lot of distance, and like we said earlier, you can totally follow it up with that attack string. So it's a great way to give free damage with Ferra. Just all around scary stuff, especially in the corner. Same goes for Ferra's sweep. Ferra's sweep has incredible range, the best range of any sweep in the game. It's a little bit under jumping distance, so right here. Look at that. That's nuts. How many characters can sweep from that far away and get a knockdown? Knockdown, dash in, throw, scary stuff. Ferra, honestly an all-around scary character, doesn't get enough credit for how good he is. Alrighty dogs, that basically covers the basic special attacks, so let's go ahead and move on to the next variation, which I believe is Ruthless. Yes, I was right. I studied up. Alrighty dogs, this variation is actually quite straightforward. It claims that the grab is different, but it's actually not. It's the same damage, no big deal. Meter burns the exact same amount of damage too. It just looks different, but outside of that, it's the exact same. No difference whatsoever. Other variations actually will change the properties of the command grab. This one doesn't change at all though, it just looks a little bit different. It's just cosmetically more appealing for some, I'm sure. Alright, but let's get down to the main attraction. The main reason this variation kicks ass. Pain and Gain. This makes you sacrifice some health for an increase in damage. So look at that, 19%, whereas normally it does this, 16%. So I got 3% extra on that. Not very much, but it's a big deal when you consider you can actually stack it up to 3 times. So that's a lot of health that I'm giving up, but it's great for the damage. That's 21%. And and the attack itself is now almost 30. So you're getting 30% for a very basic combo in exchange for your health. But that's not where this gimmick ends, no. You can actually run cancel pain and gain and extend your combo, and I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. Now keep in mind, certain combos are more difficult because you have to give Ferra time to get on Torr's back again, as she does fall off when you run cancel the attack. So keep that in mind, because Torr does lose access to a lot of special moves and attack strings when Ferra's not on his back. So you want to do combos that give her time to catch back up and hop on your backside. Alrighty dogs, that covers this variation. There's really not much else to it, so let's move on to the next one. Which I believe is vicious, yes it is. Alrighty, I'm 2 for 2, and I can't mess up, now there's only one left. If I did, that would be an impressive feat. Let's go ahead and put those special moves up on screen. And look at that dogs, they appeared on screen like magic once again. First off, we have Little Cutter. Now, this time the command grab does change a little bit. It's a lot slower, and you manually have to hit the opponent with X and Y, 1 or 2, or square and triangle depending on your console. Now keep in mind, the default grab does less damage, but oddly enough the enhanced one does more. It does I think 1% extra. So 19% instead of the usual 18%. And that's the main key differences. It's slower, but the enhanced version does more damage. That's the only real difference. Now, Boss Toss is actually the best thing about this variation, because it does a lot of damage. That's 16%, so it's a great way to end combos, but more importantly, Ferra will still eat the projectiles and do a lot of damage. Again, that's 16%, and she beats all projectiles, so you never have to trade in this variation. You will beat every projectile in your way, as long as you time it properly. Now, she's not quite full screen. She almost is. You just take a little step forward, and suddenly she hits, right? Okay, a little bit far, a little step forward, and there you go, she hits the opponent. So it's like full screen, and then not quite. It's like 3/4 of the screen. But still, man, that's a lot of damage for a trade. So characters like Sub-Zero can no longer zone you with that attack. Alrighty guys, we are on to the last variation, but it is by far the most complex one, and it's called Lackey. This actually changes a lot of Ferra Torr's attacks and their properties. So as you can see, Ferra is no longer on my back, instead she is observing and watching from the sidelines and letting Torr do his thing. You know, she's kind of just letting him cut loose and do more damage and be a little bit faster too, which is surprising, but it's kind of how it works. Alrighty guys, there are the special moves, they are on screen, so let's go ahead and talk about them. Now, Torr Charge is much like before, except now you no longer have the first hit with Ferra. However, to make up for it, the enhanced version actually has 2 hits of armor, so characters like Sub-Zero can no longer zone me out. Just like before, I can make it through both things. Check this out. Go ahead, Sub-Zero. Do your thing, girl. I ain't scared of you. I got 2 hits of armor. I don't need Ferra. I can still hurt you just like before. Alrighty, so as you saw, 2 hits of armor. I got through both things. Let's see if I can do it again. Yeah, see, there you go. I can armor through both. It is no big deal for Ferra Torr at all, even with Ferra on the sidelines. Also, just like before, you can still enhance the attack for more damage, which is pretty good. It's still a lot of damage. Can you control where he goes? I don't think you can. No, you can't. It always switches sides, so keep that in mind. Next we have Backbreaker. Now Backbreaker actually does more damage than in other variations. It does 14% instead of 12, and the enhanced version I believe also does more damage. Yeah, 19%. And like before, I can control which direction I throw him by holding it down during the enhanced version. So keep that in mind. Keep him in the corner or throw him into the corner. Either way is good. Alrighty, next we have Boulder Roll. Now Boulder Roll is a great way to compensate for your lack of projectiles because you can no longer throw Ferra. So let's say I knock Sub-Zero down, and then I roll in to close the gap. Stuff like that is great with this ability. Now keep in mind it's not safe on block, so it should most likely be used during combos. It's very risky to just do it raw. Same goes for the enhanced version. Although the enhanced version does have armor and goes full screen, I believe. Yeah, it still goes full screen and it has armor, so it's a decent way to beat projectiles. That being said, it's very risky to use it raw because it is also unsafe, so keep that in mind. It's one of those high risk, high reward situations. I still recommend using Torr Charge. Even though it's super telegraphed, you have the 2 hits of armor and it's decent damage. I really don't see many reasons for Boulder Roll. I really don't. I'm glad that it's there, but I don't recommend using it. I think that Torr Charge is much better. Last but certainly not least, we have Torr Up, which is a great damaging way to end combos. You do a short combo, say like this, Torr Up, knock him. 23%, pretty good stuff. But what's even more impressive is I can meter burn it for even more damage. Look at that. That's 30% almost by myself. I don't need no Ferra for that damage. And that's the main benefit of this variation. You can do a lot more damage with Ferra Torr, especially in the corner. There's just crazy stuff you can do. I should also mention the enhanced version does have armor, so it's a decent wake-up attack because it does combo. So it's a good way to end your combos, great way to wake up from pressure, just an all-around good move, and honestly one of my favorite reasons to use this variation at all. Because otherwise Vicious is just very good with the zoning, but this one's very good with the rushdown. They're both very good variations. Alrighty dogs, that basically covers every single variation, and his basic attack strings, so let's go ahead and do his X-Ray real quick. The X-Ray is actually +6 on block, so the only risk for using it is losing all your meter. That being said, it does a lot of damage by itself, 37%, easily one of the most damaging X-Rays, and it's also very simple to do half health. Watch this. That combo you just saw is 50% damage. If you don't believe me, just keep watching. That was 3 hits. I tossed him, I did a kick, and then I did X-Ray, and I got 50% for it. That's very damaging, and keep in mind that X-Rays cannot be combo broken, so that's 50% damage that cannot be broken unless my opponent does it very early. Pretty scary stuff, very, very scary stuff. Now that being said, this variation does come with its own attack strings as well, so I should probably mention those too real quick. Let me go ahead and put them on screen. Alrighty dogs, and there we are. First off, we have Enormous Swing. Now, honestly this move is safe on block, but outside of that, there's not many applications for using it. It just looks a little bit different than before. Cosmetically, it's a bit different. That's about it. I don't see a reason to really use it that much, if at all. Next, we have Massive Attack and On the Ball. Now, On the Ball can actually be comboed after. That's the main benefit there. However, it's also unsafe. So that's why you do Massive Attack first, and you wait to see if it hits. Just wait. If it hits, finish it. If it doesn't, don't finish it, because you're still safe, because the first 2 hits are safe, right? So use it as a hit confirm. It's a very slow, very powerful hit confirm. I love it. And it hits overhead. That's a benefit. A pretty fast overhead attack. Staggers for a long time too. Look at how much he was stunned for. Holy crap. He's stunned for a long time after that, man. Look, he got hit in the head pretty hard, right? Oh, he's dizzy. Next we have Step Aside, which is nearly identical to how it used to look, except now it's safe on block. So you have a low and an overhead that's safe. So that's pretty crazy. It doesn't combo, but still. It's a free mix-up. Pretty scary stuff, especially online. Last we have Goliath Peak. Another attack I don't really see any reason to use. It is safe on block, yes, but I don't see why you would use it. So all in all, Ferra Torr's attack strings are now much safer and easier to combo after, which is a benefit of the variation, on top of his special moves that are also pretty good. The main drawback is you no longer have any way to deal with projectiles except to move in. You don't have any projectiles of your own either, and that's also a big drawback. But to compensate, most of your attack strings are now safe, and you got some really good special moves too. So it's a give and take kind of variation. Now, alrighty guys, that basically covers everything. We have some combos I'm going to show you real quick with the guides on screen. But before we do that, please go down below and leave a like if you enjoyed the video, or if you learned anything new. Also, while you're down there, please leave a comment, tell me what you think, and if you haven't already, please subscribe for more videos, because we have content every single week. It is never a dull moment on Underdog Gaming. Once again guys, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.
Torr wins. Flawless victory.